The NFL world is absolutely buzzing today with one of the most shocking and unexpected developments we've seen in a long time. The headlines are everywhere, fans are going wild on social media, and analysts are scrambling to confirm the details. Reports are exploding that Joey Bosa, one of the most dominant defensive players of the modern era, could be making a jaw-dropping move to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Joey Bosa, the superstar edge rusher who has spent years terrorizing quarterbacks, could be suiting up in that iconic blue and silver. And what makes this story even more explosive is that Jerry Jones himself has apparently spoken out and given hints. Some are even saying confirmation that something big is happening behind the scenes. This isn't just another routine NFL rumor or speculative chatter. This feels like one of those rare moments where the league is about to shift on its axis. Fans in Dallas are already losing their minds thinking about a potential defensive lineup that includes Micah Parsons on one side and Joey Bosa on the other. A pairing that could instantly become the most terrifying pass-rushing duo in the entire NFL. It's the kind of move that doesn't just strengthen a team, it transforms them from contenders into legitimate Super Bowl favorites overnight. Now, before we get carried away by the hype, let's take a breath and understand how we even got here. Joey Bosa has long been considered one of the premier defensive talents in the league. His combination of power, speed, and football IQ is unmatched, and when healthy, he can completely change the dynamic of any defense he joins. Over the years, injuries have slowed him down at times, but when he's on the field, he's a nightmare for offensive coordinators. The Chargers built their defense around him for years, but after injuries, cap struggles, and a few frustrating playoff misses, there were rumblings that the relationship between Bosa and the organization might not last forever. Still, few could have predicted that he would end up being connected to the Dallas Cowboys of all teams, especially with how secretive Jerry Jones usually is about his moves until they're complete. What makes this story so fascinating is the timing. The Cowboys have been under immense pressure recently. The team has consistently made the playoffs but failed to deliver when it matters most, and fans have been demanding change. Jerry Jones, being the ambitious and often unpredictable owner that he is, knows that if Dallas wants to compete with elite teams like San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Kansas City, he needs to bring in another game-changing talent. Micah Parsons has been phenomenal, but imagine pairing him with someone like Joey Bosa, two monsters who can wreck any offensive line in the league. That thought alone has Cowboys Nation salivating. The Cowboys' defense was already among the top in the NFL last season, but there were moments where they needed just one more piece, one more playmaker, to close games. Joey Bosa could be that missing piece. Now, there are reports floating around that Jerry Jones made a statement earlier today that some are interpreting as confirmation. The quote that's causing the stir is Jones saying something along the lines of, "We're not done making moves, and the move we're about to make is going to make headlines." That single sentence sent fans into a frenzy. Jerry Jones has always loved to tease big moves, and his track record proves he's not afraid to go all in when he sees an opportunity. Remember, this is the same man who has turned the Cowboys into not just a football team but a global brand. He thrives on moments like this, moments where the Cowboys dominate the conversation, not just in sports, but across all media. And if he really is pulling off the acquisition of Joey Bosa, this might go down as one of the boldest moves of his ownership. Let's think about what this could mean strategically. Bosa joining Dallas wouldn't just give them another edge rusher, it would fundamentally change how teams prepare to play against them. Quarterbacks would have to make faster reads, offensive coordinators would be forced to keep extra blockers in the backfield, and the Cowboys' secondary would instantly benefit because the pass rush would get home much quicker. It's the ripple effect of having an elite pass rusher. Everyone else on the defense looks better because the opposing offense has less time to execute. Imagine Micah Parsons attacking from one edge, Bosa coming from the other, and a healthy secondary ready to capitalize on hurried throws. That's not just a solid defense, that's a nightmare scenario for any quarterback in the league. Of course, every massive move like this comes with questions and challenges. The first one, how does this work financially? The Cowboys have several big contracts on their books already. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons are all either highly paid or due for huge extensions soon. So how can Jerry Jones make room for a player like Bosa, whose salary and market value are enormous? The answer, as always with Jones, is creativity. He's known for manipulating the salary cap like few others in the league. He restructures contracts, moves money around, and always seems to find a way when he wants a player badly enough. If he truly wants Bosa in a Cowboys uniform, you can bet he's already been on the phone with his front office and financial staff figuring out how to make the numbers work. Then there's the question of how realistic this move actually is. Is Bosa really leaving his current team? Are the Cowboys in serious talks, or is this just a massive media storm feeding off speculation? Until we get an official announcement, we can't say for sure, but history has shown us that where there's smoke with Jerry Jones, there's usually fire. He doesn't play around with leaks or teases unless he wants the world watching closely. That's why so many people are convinced something real is happening behind the scenes. If this were just a baseless rumor, you'd expect Jones to shut it down quickly, but instead, he's fueling the speculation by staying coy and dropping cryptic hints. That's classic Jerry Jones behavior. He loves to be the showman, the mastermind, the man behind the curtain who controls the narrative. From Joey Bosa's perspective, this move would make a lot of sense too. Joining Dallas puts him on one of the biggest stages in all of sports. Every Cowboys game is a national event, every play is dissected and discussed. For a player like Bosa, who has battled through injuries and wants to remind the world that he's still elite, this could be the perfect opportunity. Imagine proving your critics wrong while playing for America's team. The spotlight, the exposure, the chance to chase a championship, it's the kind of opportunity few players would pass up. Plus, playing alongside Micah Parsons could take some pressure off Bosa physically. Opposing offenses can't double-team both of them on every play, which means he'd likely face fewer double teams than he did with his previous team. That could extend his career and maximize his impact. From a fan perspective, this news feels almost too good to be true. Cowboys fans have been craving something like this for years, a big, bold, statement-making move that says, "We're done being comfortable." Every offseason, they hear promises about going all in, but often the team makes smaller, safer moves instead. This time, though, it feels different. It feels like Jerry Jones is ready to push all his chips into the middle of the table. The Super Bowl window doesn't stay open forever, and Jones knows that at his age, he wants to win one more Lombardi trophy before he steps away from the game. Bringing in Joey Bosa would be his way of saying, "I'm not done chasing greatness." Now, let's talk about how this would shake up the rest of the league. If Bosa really ends up in Dallas, rival teams are going to panic. The Eagles, for instance, who already have to face Dallas twice a year, would suddenly have to game plan for not one but two elite pass rushers. The Giants and Commanders would face a similar nightmare. Even teams outside the NFC East would feel the ripple effect because Dallas would instantly vault to the top of every power ranking and playoff prediction. It would shift the entire balance of the NFC. Meanwhile, teams in the AFC, especially those that were potential landing spots for Bosa, would have to watch helplessly as Dallas swoops in and grabs a player who could have helped them compete for a title. That's the kind of power move that changes everything. But with big moves come big risks. Joey Bosa has dealt with injuries in the past, and while he's one of the best in the world when healthy, the Cowboys would be taking on that gamble. They'd need to manage his workload, keep him fresh, and build a rotation around him that allows him to dominate when it matters most, especially in the postseason. That's something Dan Quinn, the Cowboys' defensive coordinator, would likely focus on immediately. He's known for his creative defensive schemes, and having both Parsons and Bosa would give him unprecedented flexibility. He could move them around, disguise blitzes, and confuse opposing quarterbacks in ways that most defenses simply can't. If this move really happens, it won't just be a roster addition, it'll be a cultural moment for the Cowboys organization. Jerry Jones thrives on spectacle, and this would be the ultimate headline. You can already imagine the press conference, Jones standing at the podium with that famous grin, Bosa in a crisp new Cowboys jersey, photographers flashing away, and fans watching live on every network. It would instantly dominate the sports world, trending on every social media platform and sparking countless debates about whether this finally makes the Cowboys favorites to win it all. And let's be honest, this is exactly the kind of jolt the NFL loves. A superstar like Bosa moving to one of the league's most iconic franchises is good for business. The league's television ratings would spike, Cowboys games would draw even more viewers, and merchandise sales would skyrocket. Kids across the country would start buying Bosa's Cowboys jersey overnight. The NFL thrives on stories like this because they blend sports, drama, and celebrity all into one perfect storm. In the end, whether this move becomes official or remains just a tantalizing rumor, one thing is clear: the idea of Joey Bosa joining the Dallas Cowboys has already captured the imagination of fans everywhere. It's the kind of storyline that reminds us why we love sports: the suspense, the speculation, the possibility of something massive just around the corner. Jerry Jones may not have signed the paperwork yet, but in the hearts of fans, this move already feels real. It represents hope, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of glory that defines the Cowboys brand. Whether it happens today, tomorrow, or never at all, the conversation it sparked will echo for weeks. And if it does happen, if Joey Bosa really walks through that tunnel at AT&T Stadium,